Weird, I had this thing on beauty mode. Beauty mode, really? Is that really going to help this fucking mug? What's up, creepers and geekers? Chris, the Atari Creep here, and happy election day to all my friends here in the States. And if you're not in the States, feel lucky. God save us all. Hey, what's up, guys? I want to talk about the classic NES Mini, only because it's due to come out Friday, this Friday, the 11th. I wanted to make a video on this when they announced it, but I had technical problems, phone died, blah, 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 and by the time I got set back up, everyone had already talked about it, positives and negatives. I just want to briefly touch on it, and then I want to give you a little different spin on my take of it anyway. First of all, when I saw this thing, I'm thinking to myself, who's this marketed towards? Because at the end of the day, it's just another one of those flashback style plug and play things. Yes, it'll probably be a much better quality because Nintendo themselves are facilitating it, but that's all it really is to me, Of course, it's marketed directly to the collector and NES, Nintendo enthusiasts in general, but NES especially. Those are the type of folks I think are going to just take this thing home, maybe play with it for a little bit, but it's going to be another box on their shelf with the Nintendo on it to add to their collection, and that's fantastic. I think probably aside from that, the majority of people who are going to be buying this are people who are going to get sucker punched in the face with nostalgia. They don't necessarily play video games, but they remember having an NES as a kid. A lot of those games are probably built into it that they had then or that they rented. And they want to take it home and just, relive that briefly. It'll end up on the shelf somewhere or in a yard sale where I'll more likely be picking it up from them. Maybe they'll introduce it to their kids and their kids will just take it over and what have you. Either way, that's all well and good too. And of course, those folks who are our loving friends and families who know that we have this addiction to these useless pieces of plastic that no one else gives a shit about and says, hey, you know what, that'd be a perfect gift for Chris the Atari Creep. And more than likely, I'll probably end up with one that way too. So either way, I'm happy. So the demographic I really want to focus on, and it's the purpose for this video, is the individual who's going to pick this thing up simply because they're just getting started collecting retro video games for whatever their reason is. Now, me personally, I'm not new to collecting, but I'm recollecting, as many of you know. And hold on. God, I need my fuel. I had to sell off my entire collection before I moved back to Boston. And now I'm regaining it. And I've been getting lucky, but I also realized that it's not the easiest, Our hobby right now is at the peak, as far as I can tell, of its popularity. And it went from a sleazy little who the hell would want this crap and, weirdo thing to everybody's into it. I'm seeing commercials. Arby's got a lot of stuff that you can see on Facebook alone where they're cutting up their little boxes and making video game references and stuff. And it's awesome to see that, but it also is a sign that collecting this stuff is a lot tougher. There's a lot less out there now, and what is out there is generally inflated in price, and it may be tough to get your hands on a handful of these video games, and the really good ones, which this NES Classic Mini has. I'm really impressed with the selection they have. There's a few I'm kind of questioning, but that's for another time. So I was thinking about this, and I'm thinking, okay, 30 games, $60, about $1 a game if you don't count the hardware and taxes. I think I could come up with a better solution. And again, this is not to puke on the NES Mini Classic. I do plan on getting one. But I got thinking about this and how you could better spend your money. By all means, get it too. But I don't know. This idea just came up, and again, it's probably nothing new. People have probably already thought of it. I'm sure there's a video about this already, but I just had to get this out there. First and foremost, you got to think about hardware, something to play the games on. Now, of course, you can emulate them. You can put them on your Wii's and Wii U's and what have you. You can put them on the computer. As soon as I said the computer, it said something back. That's creepy. But for most of us, the idea is to get the original stuff in our hands and play it properly. And by properly, I mean as it was back in the day. Now, if you're okay with just playing an emulation, awesome. But if you wanted to get your hands on something that's as close to then, if not the exact stuff, again, that could be time-consuming, very expensive. So let me offer up a solution. You will be spending a little bit more money in the initial part of it, but you'll be getting a lot more bang for your buck. Now, first and foremost, again, hardware. So you can go out and get an NES, and let's hope it works very well. If not, there are solutions. There are a ton of solutions out there to make them work as best as they can, because it was a flawed design. What I would suggest is trying to find one of those clone units, not the cheaper ones like the Retro Duo and all that stuff. That's a hard time. But there's a number of really good ones out in the market. There's one that a Arizona retro game shop got together and produced, and I did a review of that one, and I'll pop a picture up right here of it so you can search it out. That's a really good one. That'll play a lot of the games that a lot of these other ones won't. Mainly because of certain chips and stuff within cartridges. Some of the colors are a little off, the sounds are slightly off, but it's as good as you're going to get for the price. Another option is, and this is my option, this is what I have in the bedroom to play most of my Nintendo-esque games from the 8-bit era. It's called the Generation Next, and you can find these on eBay for about $50. It sounds like a lot of money for a used clone console, but this is a solid console. There is nothing cheap about it, and so far it's been able to do anything I put to it. With the exception of maybe a cartridge that's not working well. And what's great about this is you can play both Famicom and NES carts. So you can get into both fields. Long story short, that's a value in itself. And what's great about a lot of these clone units, and especially this one in particular, is it has the ports for the original controllers. So if you picked up one of these, just forego the shitty controller it comes with, spend another, say, $12 or so, and get your hands, maybe it's 20 in your market, whatever it is, an original controller from a reputable dealer that will back up the fact that it works well. Right there, you have the original stuff in your hands, and you will experience it how it was experienced in the early days. But now you gotta get a collection of games, and that's the toughest part of this whole thing. Hardware is easy. If I may make a suggestion, and I keep threatening a review of this cartridge, I will eventually get to it. I do have plans for it, but long story short, I was gifted this by my buddy Mr. Paku Paku. It's called Pocket Games 150 in 1. And it's literally exactly what it says. It's 150 games on one cartridge. Now, I have the Famicom version, but there is an NES version. The most common one is a red one. But I searched them out yesterday to see where they were at. They were about $40 when it first came out. They are now roughly between $15 and $30. So you really get a really good value there. In the past, the problem with these multi-cards, especially the Famicom ones, is they weren't very good. They would have claims of 400,000, 10,000, a million games, but it would really be like 10 games, just hashed differently. You know, sometimes you would start at level 3 on this one particular one. This one is legitimately 150 games, individual games, and they're, for the most part, top shelf games. So you have probably thousands of dollars worth of games, and we'll say 20 at the middle road, $20 cartridge. Again, you can get it on NES, or you can get it in Famicom, like I have it. The other option, of course, is a flash card. Now, those range anywhere from $20 to $100, depending on where you're getting it and the quality of it. Now, even if you went, say, middle of the road and paid, like, say, $50, $60 for one, then you paid $50 or $60 for something like this, or even $100 for the original hardware, that's an infinite amount of games. You put a little flash card in there, and you can have every game on the library, both NES and Famicom, games that weren't released here in the States. So with my option, you're still at about $1 a game, give or take, maybe a little bit less. With that option, pennies a game. So, you know, I know this is going to be abrupt, and I'm just going to kind of end it right here, just so this video doesn't go on forever and ever, and I repeat myself over and over again. But thinking about the classic NES Mini and riffing off of the dollar a game, I thought there was a better option for someone who's just started collecting and thought I would just get that out there to you guys. Should you be that individual watching this video? And if not, then, you know, whatever. You can dismiss this whole thing as Chris is just ranting as he usually does. But with that, guys, best of luck today with your voting. And may God save the Queen. And yeah, happy hunting out there, guys. It's tough, but you know, holiday season's coming up, and you never know what's going to be pulling out of those attics and basements during spring cleaning coming shortly after the winter and all that stuff. So now I'm just rambling on. So guys, I hope everyone's doing well, and I hope this video gave you some information that helps. So, you know, leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, comment down below. All feedback's positive to the Creep. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye-bye.